Hi, welcome back to our PSLE Math Heuristics lesson. Now today we are going to continue with our model drawing part 2. Right, the last lesson we did part 1 and we have gone through two examples or two problems on equal concept. Right, how do you draw before and after model with equal concept? Alright, and I think I told you all to try to do practice 1. Alright, see whether you have time to do practice 1 and practice 2. And today we are going to go through, right, going to draw out the model. And you're going to look at your model and see whether you get the answer, the similar answer. Okay, so let's look at practice 1 and let's see how do we draw the model. Now, there were 4 times as many boys as girls. So before you do any drawing, you have to put something important onto your statements. So there are 4 times of boys and 1 time of girls. Now, after 330 boys and 30 girls left the hall. So this is what we call the change, right? There's an action happening. There was now an equal number of boys and girls in the hall, which is the after. So how many pupils were in the hall at first? Okay, so how do we draw the before? Now, the before, so I label, and let's call it boys and girls. And how many boxes do I draw for the boys? I draw a rectangle, and I cut it into 4 equal boxes, and the girls will be 1 box. Okay, when you draw your model, try not to draw too big. Neither do you draw very small. So if the width of the model, the length of the rectangle that I draw is usually about half the width of the page. So that's a good size, all right, a good size for you to draw the model. Now, so you have drawn the first sentence already, and 330 boys and 30 girls left the hall, and then there was an equal number of boys and girls in the end. So when you see the equal number, which is the equal concept, all right, you have something called the equal concept. So you have a dotted line to show the equal concept. So how do you draw the dotted line? Well, you can draw a dotted line that cuts through both rectangles, okay, something like that. And when the line cuts through both rectangles, you will see that this is the 330 boys who left the hall, and then this is the 30 girls who left the hall, and then what will happen in the end? In the end, you will have equal number, right? Equal number of boys and girls left in the hall. Okay, that's what you will see in the model, right? Your before and after. So always remember to have a dotted line. Every time there is an equal concept, right? There's an equal concept, you may want to use a dotted line. Okay, so how many pupils were there in the hall at first? So your question mark is over here, and you're done. Okay, you're done already. Okay, so what do we do? You look at the model to study the model and to write out the statements, your unit statements. So every box is called 1 unit. Okay, every box, and this is also 1 unit. If you look at the after model, you cannot call 1 unit because if you look at the boxes, they are smaller than 1 unit in the after model, so you can't call it 1 unit. All right. So what do we do next? Okay, now model drawing is a very easy model. It's a very easy, right? It's a when you draw the model, there's a way to look at the model and then work out the steps. What is that way? What is that way of looking at the model? Now you either plus or minus in the model. For example, I do not know what is the total. If I know the total, then what I do is I will add up everything inside the model because everything inside the model will be equal to the total. But because I don't know what is the total, right? I do not know what is the total, so I cannot plus everything. So what do? I minus. So how do I minus? Then you have to look at you have to find the difference. All right, you have to look at the model and find the difference between the units. For example, if you look carefully, what's the difference between the units? You have 4 units of boys minus 1 unit of girls. That will be 3 units. Okay, 3 units. Okay, so you look for differences. So if you cannot plus everything together, then you always try to find the difference. See whether can you minus. And then you look at the whole numbers and you also find the difference. Like 330 minus 30, what do you get? 330 minus 30, you will get 300. So there is another difference, which is 300. Isn't that the same as 3 units? So your 3 units is also equal to 300. Then you can find 1 unit. So your 1 unit will be 300 and then divide by 3 and you will get 100. And then you use the 1 unit answer to find the question mark. So how many pupils were there at first? So at first there are altogether 5 units of pupils. So 100 and then times 5. and that's how you get the total number of pupils at first. So when you draw a model, after you are done with the model, then what should you do? You look at the model and see whether can you plus everything together. You look at the before model, oh, I can't plus them together because why? I don't have the total given to me. So if I cannot plus them together, then the next thing to do is to minus. So can I minus? Yes, I can. I compare the boys and the girls to find how many more units. And then I compare the whole numbers to see how many more, right? And then my 3 units is actually 300 more. And then you can find 1 unit to get the answer. Alright, so that's how you draw the model. That's how you observe the model to see what to do next. Alright, either plus or either minus. Okay, alright, let's look at another practice problem. Now, Lina and Mingho had the same number of money at first. Lina saved another 900 and Mingho spent $250. And then Lina had twice as much as Mingho. So Mingho must be 1 time and Lina has three times in the end. So how much money did each of them have at first? Okay, so how do you draw the before, which is the money at the beginning? So both of them had the same amount of money at first. So you draw a rectangle which is the same length, right? Equal amount or same amount, that is your equal concept. So every time you see equal or same amount, equal concept, all right, equal concept, something you have a dotted line. Okay, so I will put a dotted line there. Let me just draw a bit nicer. Okay, let me draw the dotted line a bit nicely. Okay, so maybe dotted line, all right, to show the equal concept. So why dotted line? Because when you draw your rectangle, you draw until the dotted line. That's why you have the dotted line to guide you on where to draw until. Okay, then how about the after? Okay, now the after, Lina saved another 900. Okay, so you can actually separate the model, or you can also join them together. So for this lesson, I will separate them so that it's easier for you to see. But once you get better, you can actually join them together. So Lina saved another $900. Alright, so which means that, let's look at the before model again. She saved another $900, so you can see a dotted box. So dotted box means what? It means that she's going to save the money, but she hasn't saved yet. That's why it's a dotted line, like an invisible box. So she hasn't gotten the money yet. She hasn't saved the money yet, but she's going to save. And then Mingho is going to spend. So you cut a part here, and he's going to spend $250. But has he spent already? No, he hasn't spent because it's still inside his rectangle. Okay, still inside the rectangle. Alright, so how do you draw the after model? Now, Lina's rectangle in the end will be until the dotted line. So now you have another function of dotted lines. The first function is to use to draw equal rectangles, right? When you have equal concept, then you have a dotted line to show equal concept. The other purpose of having a dotted line is to guide you to draw the rectangle until where? Like for example, Lina's rectangle is until where? Until the dotted line. So the dotted line will help you to be more accurate in your drawing. And then Mingho's rectangle is until where? Mingho spend the money, jump over the rectangle so that you don't cut, right? You don't cut and make it messy. So means Mingho's rectangle in the after model will also be until the dotted line. So his rectangle now becomes shorter already. So the dotted line makes the drawing more accurate, right? Then it's easier to use the model to solve later. Okay, then what happened later? Okay, then now Lina had 3 times as many. So you can see that if I were to cut Lina's rectangle into 3 times as many, and then you look at Mingho's rectangle, which is one longer box, okay, one long box, which is not proportional, right? So what do? So we cannot cut. Neither do we want to redraw the whole model. So what I will do is I will put down maybe something. You can put 3 units inside, right? 3 units inside. Or you can put outside, up to you. You can put outside, you can put inside, like 3 units inside here, okay? Or you can put 3 units outside, or you can also do what? You can also put the 3 units inside, all right? 3 units inside and the 1 unit inside. Okay, you can do that, right? You can do that. Okay, all right. And then what do we do next? Okay, question mark. So how much money did each of them have at first? Okay, then your question mark will be maybe over here. Okay, something like this. Alright, and then Lina will have the same money as Mingho. Okay, and your model is done already. Alright, And by the way, you can also put your question mark like this as well, because both of them had the same amounts of money. Alright, so once you have done your model, everything is clear, everything is neat and tidy, then you look at the model, and you can see there are some empty boxes, right? So can you fill in the empty boxes? Yes, I can. For example, Minho has 1 unit in the end. You just work backwards. That's 1 unit. And then you work backwards again. You can cut here. Alright, let me use a blue color. So you can cut here. This is also 1 unit, right? And then this is your $250, right? So on top, below, the same. And then your 3 units, if you look carefully, your 3 units is Lina's rectangle in the end, 3 units. So which means that from here to here, alright, this is your 3 units. Alright, 3 units. If you look at the Lina's rectangle in the end, Lina has 3 units in the end. And if you observe carefully, now, if you look carefully, now, the disadvantage of separating the model is, well, you have more things to draw. Okay, but if you put them together, sometimes you have lesser things to draw. So because I separate them, so you may see more things, right? You may have to draw more things. Okay, so 3 units, right? If you look carefully, this is your 3 units, all right? And you minus 1 unit, okay, which is over here. Remember what I told you? If you cannot plus, then you minus, right? Right, so if you can't plus, like for example, there's no total here, there's no total, so you can't plus the you cannot plus the numbers in the boxes. Then what do? You minus. So 3 unit minus 1 unit, and you will get 2 units. Alright, 2 units. Correct? And how much is 2 unit? So your 2 units will be $250 plus $900, and you will get $1,150. Okay, that is your 2 units. Then you find how much is 1 unit. So you take $1,150 and then divide by 2. Right, and then you do your working. Right, and so 1150 divided by 2, you will get $575. And then you look at the question mark. So you have to draw the arrow sign carefully. Where to where is the question mark? So the question mark is from here until the end of the rectangle. So you have to find 1 unit plus 250. That's how you that's how you work out the question mark. You look at the arrow sign from where to where. So 1 unit will be $575 plus $250, and your answer will be how much? So 575, right? 575 plus 250. So each of them must have $825 at first. So Minho has 825, and Lina must also have the same amount, 825. Right? Okay, so that's how you look at the model on its own. Right, after you draw the model already, you don't really have to look at the question, because your model actually represents the question. So you look at the model and then you work out the steps. So you can see that over here I separated the model. So when you separate the model, what's the not so good thing? It means that there's more drawing, right? There's more things to see, right? But if you join them together, well, that could be lesser drawing, all right? Okay, so you can either separate them or you join them together. So this is how you draw the model. Alright, so in the next lesson, right, in part 3, we will look at another before and after problem, which is total unchanged. So in this lesson, part 1, part 2, we are looking at equal concept. Right, equal concept, right? How do you draw the dotted line when there is an equal concept? In the next part, we will look at total unchanged. So there'll be four scenarios for before and after problems. The first scenario will be total unchanged, right? And then you have the one group unchanged, or one person, one group unchanged. Then you also have the difference unchanged, and then you also have everything changes. So for this problem, this is a before and after problem. So what is the scenario? The scenario is everybody changed. All right, everything changed. Lina saved money. She now has more. Minho spent money. He now has lesser. Is their total still the same before and after? No, it's different already. So everything is all changed. Yeah, so this is a everything changed scenario. Okay, so next part we will look at we will go into those 4 scenarios. How do we draw the model for these 4 scenarios? All right, so I'll see you in the next part. So stay tuned to the next PSLE Math Heuristic lesson. All right, see you next lesson.